What does Eric Kendricks bring to the table, and how's he doing so far in the transition?
He's doing a good job. He's obviously he's a veteran leader. He's picked up the playbook pretty quick with a lot of the recall he's had throughout his career, and so we're slowly moving him along, and hopefully he gets on the field soon.
When you spend the bye week self-scouting and stuff, I'd imagine the last couple of games obviously impressive, holding opponents under 10 points. So, kind of what's your state of the defense going to the Final Four here?
Same thing. We got to continue getting better. You never want to sacrifice your style of play, the effort, the violence, the technique that we preach, and I think our guys have done a really good job with that. I think the bye week came at a perfect time. I think our guys were getting a little tired, which probably led to we had a lot of missed tackles, for example, against Cleveland, and a lot of missed tackles towards the end of the year. There's a direct correlation between being tired and missed tackles for football teams throughout the course of the year, and so this bye week came at a perfect time. And but overall, I mean, I'm going long answer short. It's been good. We got to continue getting better. We're still a long way to go.
How did Matos look today out there in practice?
He did good. For first time out in a few weeks, obviously, we just had him go through individual, and we'll continue to build him up as we go.
For the rookies, it was their first bye week, and it's learning how to handle that. How do you think that they did handle the bye, and how did they come out of it?
I think they did a good job. We'll find out on Sunday overall, but I think a lot of them felt refreshed. I mean, it's not easy for a rookie when you go 14 straight or whatever, how many weeks we went, 13, and I not to speak for Alfred, he was one of the guys I had a candid conversation with, and you could tell that he just feels rejuvenated. But hopefully the results show on Sunday.
Is that about Cam Ward's game and scouting him? Have you seen improvement throughout the year of what he's been able to do?
For sure, he's improved significantly throughout the year. He's earlier in the year, obviously his numbers weren't great, but I think his numbers have improved week in and week out. Uber talented, can make every throw. They do a really nice job. They've been in a lot of football games, and they've kind of let it slip away there in the fourth quarter. But overall, I think offensively they've been moving in the right direction. They do a lot of really good things, and the quarterback, just speaking of him, he's got a lot to him.
What do you think about a guy like Tony Pollard, and how do you kind of prepare schematically?
Well, both of them, 20 and 2, two very, very good backs, two very different backs, both physical, elusive. They can break tackles. They've got great vision and body contact balance. So really impressed with both those backs. And they do a good job getting them the football in a variety of ways. But definitely something that has our attention.
Robert, Clelin Ferrell mentioned post-game after the Browns that even as a new addition, he was impressed that the team was able to block out the noise. How validating is it for you to hear that a veteran like him can kind of come in mid to early season and notice that?
He'd been here before, so he kind of knows what the standard is. I think it is good, but at the end of the day, that you go out there, and I think Cleve broke the team down today, and he just talked about having that confidence that when you take the field, you're one of the best in the world. You suit up, you're an NFL player, and that's the truth. And to ride with that confidence, and I think our locker room does that. I think our locker room believes that it's the best in the world, which I think it is, and they approach every single game that way.
Is a late bloomer? Like, how do you explain this run that he's on right now?
I don't know. he's doing a heck of a job, and it's not fake either. He's winning one-on-ones. He's getting to the quarterback. He's playing with great effort and violence, and you could say that. I mean, there's a lot of pass rushers who came on late. I don't want to misspeak, but I think one of the best ones of all time, Michael Strahan, came on really late. So with all these players, you just never know. You just stick to the grind with them, and you keep developing them, and you keep giving them opportunities. And guys like him, who play relentlessly the way he does, is always going to be given opportunities just because of his play style and what you can count on. And so credit to him. He's what he's been doing isn't fake, and hopefully it continues for the last 4 weeks.
The games that you guys play up front, is it more about the quarterback you're facing, or is it about the personnel that you have on your line?
Give me the beginning part.
When you're playing lots of stunning games and twists up front, you're doing lots of that in the game. Is that about the quarterback or your talent?
It's really you're game planning the offensive line at that point more than anything. You know, who you can take advantage of, where you think there's who you think you can crease. You're trying to find space in the protection. So we do a variety of different looks, whether it's 8-up pressure look or different types of show looks, just to get the O-line to see where we can create space in there, and that's where the games come from. So it's more of game planning the offensive line than it is the quarterback.
I've watched Clelin and thought he looks slimmer this year than he did 2 years ago. That may be due to the different jersey number he was wearing. But what do you see as far as quickness, and could it be related to fresh legs, just him coming in when he did?
It could be fresh. I don't have any recall or any personal interaction with Clee. What I do know is that the guy plays like it's the last play of his life, which is what you want everyone to play with. And I think when guys have the mentality that he has with regard to effort and play style, you're always going to give yourself a chance to succeed. And, like I said, whether he lost weight, and that's kind of been the edge to give him that extra step, that'd probably be more of a question for Kasarik. But he's definitely, like I said, what he's been doing is not fake. And hopefully, again, just to repeat myself, hopefully it continues for the last 4 weeks.
How's Etor handled this year? It really hasn't been.
Who's that?
Etor. How's he handled this year?
He's been in good spirits. It could get frustrating. He missed OTAs in training camp trying to rehab, and he came back, and I thought he was progressing well. Again, it'd be a good question for him, but as far as I can tell, he's been in good spirits. He's been positive. He's working his tail off. He's trying to get back to the team.
When you do the self-scout, is there an area that kind of stands out where you want to improve on? So you use your circle like this is what I really want to hit on the last 4 games?
From a self-scout standpoint, you're really just trying to find the things that you do really, really well, and you're trying to eliminate some of the things you don't. And that's from a coaching standpoint. Like, let's continue putting players in positions that we're excelling at versus stop doing the things or asking them to do things that we clearly just can't get done. And not to get into those details, but that's really what you're looking for is more, you're not changing your scheme. Nothing dramatic is happening. You're just trying to emphasize the things that you do well, especially in this last stretch.
Sometimes Kyle has talked about not necessarily the defensive line going for the kill, but maybe just kind of containing the quarterback in the pocket. How unique is it to have a defensive line group that wants to play selflessly like that as opposed to just going for the stats and the numbers?
That's a good question. I think that's a credit to Chris and the way he coaches those guys. And I always talk about our D line. It's relentless chaos, but it's organized in a way. And he's got those guys tied together. They understand what they can and can't do. And I always say in coaching, you always get what you emphasize. And Chris does a really good job of emphasizing the things that they need to get done, where you can still rush the quarterback relentlessly in the way you need to win a one-on-one, but also within the confines, if you will, of the scheme and keeping the quarterback in the pocket.
Sure. Curtis Robinson's got a couple starts now, so I guess what's his style as opposed to what you've seen out of Brett's different, but him and Tatum to Curtis, how has that transpired?
I don't know if there's a different style. There is, but I think all of our linebackers have the same mentality. Curtis is really smart. He is sideline to sideline. He's relentless in that regard. They play with great effort. A while ago when we first got into the league, or when I first got here in 2017, we were still kind of a Sam linebacker needs to be 240, and a Mike linebacker needs to be this, and a Will linebacker needs to be athletic, and I find it hard to imagine that anyone else is doing that anymore in the league. And we kind of shifted really in 2018, where it was just give us 3 linebackers. All of them are the same, and whoever can communicate the best will be the Mike linebacker. And Curtis is no different than all of them in terms of size, length, foot speed, all that stuff. And he just happens to be really good at calling the defense, and he creates a calm in there.
Ready. Not everyone at once.
Ricky Pearsall, five receptions for 20 yards in 3 games. Is that more on him, or is it on you guys and how you're going to him? What's going on there? He's not producing very much.
I wouldn't say it's on.
it's circumstantial. I think every game's different. I think you go back, the Arizona game, I think was his first game back, and we targeted him a lot, and there was coverages, dictated where the ball went. I think Carolina, we did target him a handful of times, and Brock missed a few throws on a couple, and we got into a situation where we were trying to run the ball in the fourth quarter. And then in the Cleveland game, there weren't many ops, and he did take advantage of some of his ops in that game where he beat man coverage a few times, and he made some big plays. So it's situational. Ricky's not doing a thing wrong. He's practicing his butt off. He's competing. He looks good. And that's football sometimes. That's the life of a receiver. Sometimes the ball comes your way, sometimes it doesn't, and just keep your head down and keep playing, and good things tend to happen. So that's the plan.
Anything jump out at you just looking back at Brock's couple of games he's been back and just, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the Cleveland game was awesome. I mean, for him to bounce back from Carolina where he just missed some throws in that game, whether it was timing or just missed something and ended up throwing 3 picks, but then he bounced back against Cleveland in a really challenging environment, against a really good defense that was going to play man, and he was going to have to make throws and stay in the pocket, and he did. And he did what he needed to do to win. So I was super proud of Brock. Every game's been different. Every defense has presented different challenges, and I'm just proud of how he played against Cleveland. And I think he's playing with confidence now, coming off the bye week. So expect him to keep playing well.
You threw away the ball 7 times in that game, as opposed to it was 7 times the whole season previous. So is that something you emphasized to make sure he didn't put the ball in danger?
Yeah, I think one thing we really emphasized in that game was we can't hold the ball against that pass rush. If you're going to sit there and take a couple hitches, the ball's got to go, or you got to run, or you got to get the ball to your hands, because those guys, that pocket was collapsing, and we knew the challenge. So it was a point of emphasis for sure. We just didn't want him holding the ball and a turnover to cost us in that game. So
Season have come when he's holding the ball longer. How much of a point of emphasis is it to just be decisive?
It's always the emphasis. We want every play to be decisive as we can. But Brock's made a living on holding the ball and making plays too, and you don't want to take away that skill of his. I'd have to go through and look at all the interceptions and tell you why, but I think some of it's just missing the throws. Some of it's it's not the best play design. That happened earlier in the year against Seattle, where we put him in a position that wasn't a great call, but. You got to balance those two things. You want him to be decisive as he can be, but you also want him to be the playmaker he tends to be when he can get outside the pocket and hold the ball. So just constantly weighing those things and balancing it out.
Is that a larger percentage of his interceptions on first down? What's the sort of the risk reward balance maybe on first down of maybe not taking when to take chances as opposed to later in the?
I mean, you want to be aggressive. You don't ever want to. Those are situations. First down, you get an earned first down. You want to stay aggressive. You want to get explosives. That's where that happens in football games. Usually, is you're taking advantage of the defense not knowing what you're doing. Are they running it? Are we play action? Those are situations we like to be aggressive. Again, that's football. Sometimes you miss a throw. Sometimes they make a play, but you got to turn the page and just Brock keeps his mindset, which I'm going to stay aggressive, and he's made those plays more often than not. So we're not going to take that away from him.
Do you or your staff use Pro Football Focus data numbers, for pre-scouting teams, things like that?
I know we've used it. I couldn't tell you what we specifically. In my world right now, I get numbers sometimes from our analytics department. We look at numbers and can't always tell you where they come from, but I know we do use that, especially in the offseason too. So yeah. All right. You guys good? Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
At the beginning of the Browns game, like maybe the first, second play, they were doing some bootlegs, and Isaiah McGuire got some penetration, and you kind of spurted away from him. And it looked to me like that looked like you. I mean, did you feel, is the toe feeling pretty good?
Yeah, no, it feels really good, and like I said, once I get moving and warmed up and everything, and in the game, for me, I just focus on playing ball, and like in that case, like escaping, not getting caught on keepers and stuff, like busting my butt to get outside the edge and all that, just like I have in the past. So that's just where I'm at now.
When you watch yourself during the bye week, how do you assess how you played so far this season, and what do you want to emphasize moving forward?
Yeah, I think, there's been moments where, I got to, in the past where, like I've said, drive the ball, like mechanically. I want to continue to strive for, just my accuracy and stuff. I feel like there's been moments where I can be better with that. As a whole, this whole year, it's really just been about my toe and getting healthy and feeling like myself again. So, having a week to rest up and then coming back this week and having a couple practices under my belt just feels good and feel fresh. But More than anything, it's continuing to play with the chip on my shoulder and going back and watching the situational football moments that we were in the games that I've been in so far. And, I think for me, it's in the end of the stretch here, 4 games, regular season, how can I be better? And I thought, the last game in Cleveland was a pretty good test for me to, take care of the ball, be smart with it, throw it away, and then stay on the field when we can. So, I don't know. That's what I watched, and that's what I saw.
Do you think that there was anything when you were just coming back from the toe, subconscious about digging your feet into the ground and just planting yourself and kind of generating the power that you usually do, considering where that injury is?
Yeah, that's my position. Obviously, it's my right toe, and so driving off that, like all that really does, impact just everything, with my mechanics and all that. So coming back, it was about getting that right and getting back to, how I've played ball before. And so, when I did come back against Arizona, like I felt great in terms of, this is how I feel in the past, and I feel really good and stuff. So it's just continuing to build on that and finding little things every single week to continue to get better and feel like myself, but keep pushing myself past where I was before. So I feel like that's just where I'm at right now, and I got to finish out strong.
I know you guys don't like looking past the next opponent, but when you have a bye week as late as this one, do you allow yourself at all to look at scenarios or what lays in front of you, knowing that there is still so much that you could gain over the next 4 weeks here?
Definitely. That's the business that we're a part of in terms of we want to win our division and we want to win every single game and get into the playoffs, and that's our job. That's why we're here. So, to have a week off and sort of see where we're at, I'm sure everybody on our team did look at that, but being back now, it's like all we have our eyes and sight on is the Tennessee Titans in this week and this Sunday. So that's where we're at. Really good team, and we respect the heck out of this defense. So my job this Sunday is to come in and do our job and execute, put up points, and find a way to win. So that's where we're at. We got to take it one at a time and strictly go from there.
Discussion about Aiyuk recently is about popular and stuff and all that. But what is maybe it's a no-doubt question, but what are you missing without him? Or I guess what makes him special and kind of special to this offense? Kind of makes it go.
Aiyuk he's a baller. He makes plays. He in man-to-man matchups does a great job of creating separation, and he's an explosive player, man. You get the ball in his hands, and he can go get yak and bring juice to the offense when he's in and run blocking. Aiyuk's got so many clips of getting in and blocking linebackers and safeties and corners and running downfield with a running back and blocking guys. Like he did it all, man, at receiver. So he did a great job with that. And obviously I wish he's healthy to be able to be with us and play and roll. And but like I said before, and I've said in the past, like all the things off the field, like that's not my place to say anything. All I can say is I'd love to play with him, and in the past we've had such great times together and stuff. And so that's all I can really say about it. But yeah.
Rock, as far as the process of pro football, the fans see Sunday, but you guys work, Monday through Saturday to prepare. Do you have a favorite day in the week where either you're getting the game plan or you're going through certain things? Is there a favorite day in the process of the game that you like?
I think Friday's nice, just in terms of having just about everything in when it comes to like our game plan. Obviously, we'll have first, second down, third down, red zone, everything, and so Friday being able to compartmentalize everything and go over everything mentally, and it's a day for me, I think, in the evening where it's like, all right, I can breathe a little bit to, sort of see the big picture and then dial back into my little details from there. So Friday's always is probably one of my favorite days.
You mentioned the throwaways. How do you find balance between throwing away the ball and then also being able to make plays like you do when you can hold the ball?
Yeah, I think it's in the moment. Can I make a play? Can I be aggressive? Where are we at in the game situationally? And I've made plays in the past where I'm aggressive and it works out. I've made plays poorly where I try to be aggressive and it costs us. So, I think it's just watching film and understanding my experiences and learning from it. But that's why you get paid a lot as a quarterback, to make those kind of decisions. Can you be aggressive and it works, and it works out for the whole team and you win games, or can you not do that and manage the game and throw the ball away and stay on the field? And I don't know, those are the decisions that we have to make at quarterback. But that's what's fun about our position, and for me, I'm continuing to grow in that. But I love that challenge as a whole.
Last one said that Clelin Ferrell broke down the team, reminding everybody that as NFL players, you guys are the best in the world. How does that resonate with you guys, especially just coming down the stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one game at a time, and understanding, if it was easy, everybody in the whole world would do what we're doing. So it was a pretty cool reminder just for all of us to hear that from Clee. And what we do is hard, and it's a challenge, but we love it and we're up for it. We've done this our whole life, and so we can't forget and take this for granted. Like, we're end of the season, NFL ball, like in December. Like, this is an exciting time, and we gotta seize the moment and not take it for granted. So it was a great reminder by him to our whole team, for all of us to hear it, and a lot of guys, really, I think, took that and it sort of fired everyone up. So we're excited. Thanks, guys.
George, you guys obviously had a very late bye. In retrospect, now that you've had it, does it feel like you're refreshed and maybe an advantage in going to these last 7 games?
When we first got our schedule and it said we were having a Week 14 bye, I was very disappointed because I feel like that's really late in the season. But I feel like because we're 9-4, a Week 14 bye is fantastic, because getting our legs back underneath us and just giving it a week, of like just not getting hit is really good for all of us, and just get some of the guys back to full speed. I think it's going to be really helpful for us, and I feel like most guys took really good advantage of the break. When we came back on Monday, we thought we had a good practice then. I thought we had a great practice yesterday, and I thought today guys were flying around. So I think that's just leading into hopefully a great opportunity for us on Sunday.
That you're a big Philip Forsberg fan.
I am.
Friend.
Yes.
Do you hang out with the Titans because of where your off-season home is? I mean, do you have any relationships on that team?
Oh, I know a couple of the offensive linemen just through like Taylor Lewan. And then actually like during the month of like July, I'll have, like I used to, like Will Levis came out a couple off seasons ago. I usually get like 2 or 3 of their wide receivers come run routes with us, just because we have a big group and it's more fun to run routes with a bunch of guys than by yourself. So every once in a while I get a good group of guys, but I don't know, like I don't hang out with too many of them, all the time, but it's fun when they do come out to the barn for routes.
Will you catch passes from Levis? Have you caught passes from him?
Yeah, I definitely have. If Brock's not around and CJ's not there, the nice thing is like when CJ Beathard's there, he still knows our offense, so he knows the timing and everything. But yeah, no, I mean, anybody that shows up, like Duck Hodges is my quarterback sometimes when guys don't show up, and he's still got a cannon. I would love to have him as our camp quarterback one day. I think that'd be really fun. He shows up to my house with a 6-pack of beer, does one shoulder pump, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm good to throw." It's fantastic. What a character.
George, after the Rams game, you said that this offense could become one of the league's best. How close do you guys feel you are to attaining that?
Well, that's a great question. We're not there yet. I wish. I thought we did pretty good against the Browns defense that I think is pretty elite. We got pretty lucky with a lot of field position stuff. With our special teams did a great job. Our defense did a great job, but like we took advantage of those situations. But I think we're doing. We're not horrible on third down. We can get a little bit more efficient. The Panthers game. I thought we ran the ball well. Obviously, we had 3 turnovers, but we're still like we're trending in the right direction. We're not getting worse, which is good. Like you want to get a little bit better. You want to be better in December than you were in November. That good line. But like I said, like I feel like this week of practice, I thought the Browns' week of practice was really good for our offense, and I think guys are just really coming together, getting their legs underneath them, getting their conditioning. Like it's that time of the year where like you got to show up, or otherwise we're going to be out of it. So I think the intent is there, and I think Coach Shanahan's hitting his stride too with just his mesh of play calling. So I think this will be a big game for us to see like, hey, can we go out there and score a ton of points? And my expectation is yes, and my hope is yes.
George. A strictly X's and O's question about him. Like what does he bring to the offense? Like, what makes him so integral to this offense? What does he provide? His specific skill set.
You want me to sell you Brandon Aiyuk? Didn't you watch a lot of his games?
But I don't have the X's and O's knowledge. I'm not an NFL player.
You cover us for a long time, haven't you? All right, I'll sub us your balls. Yes. Well, let's see. Aiyuk's an absolute freak of nature, I think is the number one thing. He's a guy who can run 22 miles an hour and then stop on a dime, then jump 40 inches with a freakishly long wingspan and catch any ball you throw to him. So, like, that by itself puts him in a class of his own, that's why you paid him $30 million. And if, you don't even look at the receiving stuff, what he does in the run game too, how he hits people, how he wants to hit people, and you put him and Juwan in the field together, and it's like you have two bullies out there at the wide receiver position. When you have wide receivers that want to block downfield, that's when your run game gets really, really good. Just the mindset he had when he was playing for us was elite. No one can mess with him. He's going to make every play that that he has an opportunity to make. And then he just had that mindset he was better than everybody else in the field, which you have to be if you want to be an elite player. And so, he's everything you want in an NFL football player. Just a freak of nature and made all the plays he wanted to make.
Speaking of Juwan and being a bully,
yes.
What's your opinion on what happened between him and the Browns players?
I heard about 60% of what was said, and I don't really think a line was crossed. But again, I missed 40% of that conversation. But I was kind of chuckling to myself because, I think, there's a line that you don't cross. I don't think he crossed the line. So I think it's really good. People have said absolutely crazy things to me on a football field before that I was like, you probably shouldn't say that. I'm mic'd up right now. It's kind of crazy. But, I've heard crazy things on the field, and I don't think what Juwan said was crazy. I think, when he gets chirped, he chirps back. And I think the one thing I really respect about Juwan is that, he's never thrown a punch. The only penalties he's ever got is when other guys jump him, like the Cardinals game last year, and he got ejected for no reason. And the NFL actually told us that he shouldn't have gotten ejected. So, he does a really good job about, mouthing off to an extent without ever getting a penalty. So, hey, that's part of the game, and I think he toes that line perfectly.
Do you feel like, if you can't handle the heat, then get out of the kitchen?
I would not talk crap to a person that I know is going to talk crap to me and I can't handle it. Now, granted, I don't really talk a lot of shit, but, that's Juwan's thing. And if, guys got him going, they chirped him first. And after that, it was you guys started it. It's an avalanche. Now it's on you.
George, what are your thoughts about Phillip Rivers coming back? Where did you see your face on that?
I'm a huge fan of Phillip Rivers. I love that he doesn't swear and saying dad gummit, that is, I thoroughly enjoy that. And then just also just having him in the building is probably great for the Colts because he is a legend. And he was there for a little bit too. So all the guys are probably excited to see him, just bring a little life and energy and maybe some leadership into there. It's so horrible what happened to Daniel Jones. He's having a fantastic year. And so maybe just even if it's just a pick-me-up to have a familiar face come in. I have no expectations. I have no idea what he's going to do when he gets out there. But, they called him for a reason, and he said yes for a reason that he believes that he can still play at a high level. I think if Phillip was if he knew that he couldn't play anymore, he would have said no. But if he thinks he can play, man, and, hey, he's a really good quarterback.
You mentioned that you hope Brandon was coming back. It doesn't seem like he will. Is it hard to fathom how that relationship is broken down?
At this point, it doesn't seem like he's coming back. I try my best to not even think about it because, I love Brandon. He's one of my favorite teammates I've played with. I love, we have a lot of moments together from his rookie year. Every year we play together. We have a ton of memories together. So, that's Brandon I remember. And if I think about, I wish you'd be here and stuff like that, it kind of just makes me sad. So, I just kind of push it to the side. It's look, we got to make do with what we got in the locker room. And the guys that are here want to be here. I don't know what that relationship's like right now. And it is what it is. So, I just got to focus on this team. I wish I could focus on that, but I just can't. Good? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is that okay? So safe walking around with that thing.
Yeah.
Ricky, I couldn't help but notice that Juwan Jennings is the only receiver with a tutty. I keep thinking, well, maybe this is the week for number one, huh?
Yeah, I like to think that every week, that it's going to be my week. Mm-hmm.
The difference between coming back these last few weeks, maybe not getting the production you would want out of yourself? Is it a timing thing? Is it opposing teams giving you maybe a little bit more attention? What has factored into that?
I think it's just a football thing. That's it.
Like, I think it's just the game itself. Being a receiver, sometimes the ball doesn't come your way. You know what I mean? There's different coverages that got to be right. He's got to be able to see you. You got to beat your defender. There's a bunch of variables that go into, being open and getting the ball thrown to you and making a play. So, I think I just say it's just the game, and always be ready for the opportunity when it comes. You don't want to miss it. So, I just got to stay ready. That's what I can do.
You and Debo seemed pretty close last year, and I would just imagine he was big on trying to kind of put you on game of what to expect in the NFL. Did this type of conversation ever come up, and if so, what did he advise?
Yeah, for sure. Just talking to Debo each and every day, him being a solidified vet and always asking him questions just like that. Debo was always open to help me. So, obviously I asked a lot of questions to him that he answered for me to help me moving on in my career. And, to this day, I'll try reaching out to him and ask him questions if I ever get some. So, he was a really good teammate for me.
Ricky, you had a really big catch last game, though, on third down right before halftime. So how satisfying was that to get that one kind of spark the surge?
Yeah, for sure. It always feels good to be able to convert on downs. It just means more opportunities for the offense to go down there, get more catches, and then score points. Ultimately that's what it comes down to, is scoring points and helping our team win.
Did you sense the mentality? This is going back almost 2 weeks now, but it's third and long, and it's not a big offensive game. Did you sense something like, all right, we got to get some points here?
Yeah, for sure. Just handling what I can, control what I can control. That's always my mindset. As soon as I start worrying about the other things, that's when you kind of drive yourself nuts. And, I try not to do that. And so just knowing what I can control. And for me, it's, being available when I can for Brock, showing up on those third downs when I can, and making those plays and opportunities when they do come my way to help this team win ball games. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when we see a W on the board, that's all that matters. I don't care about, the stats or whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, coming back off the bye, man, it's been just somewhat of a refresher for the team. I think what's in the past is in the past, and the biggest thing is it's a new season. 4 games left. That's all we guaranteed. Best part about it is that we get to write our own destiny. We got the pen. So I think today was just a good to get back on the field, and we trying to be the best in the world. That's all it is.
Do you feel, here we are in mid-December, do you feel kind of fresh given, when you started up with this team? Do you think that you're kind of fresher than most guys out there?
For me, it's more so just I prepare for this moment. Every year in the offseason, I play regardless of whatever the circumstances. I prepare to play, late. Hopefully have a chance to go to the playoffs and play for a Super Bowl. So I just understand what it comes in to be in this league, and I'm just taking advantage of it. That's it.
You brought up the best in the world line, and Coach Saleh said that you said that to the team also today. Is that something you're trying to press forward with the guys?
For sure, it's belief. Yeah. It's belief. A lot of guys. I've been on this team before in 23 when we had a chance to go, make a run. I think, a big part at this point in the year is understanding, get everybody on the train, get ready. Whether you see it or not, we trying to get there. So the biggest part, you got to have that belief. And if you get a chance to go out there and dress up on Sundays, you one of the best in the world at what we do.
Some people have said that you look slimmer than you did 2 seasons ago. That might maybe due to your jersey number being different. But, where are you as far as quickness and kind of the pass rush aspect of what you have to do?
We're going to see on Sunday. I'm trying to play my best football towards the end of the year, honestly. So, a lot of guys have different things they deal with on an everyday basis. I'm just preparing. I feel like my routine has been really, really good. So I think Sunday I'll get a good chance to see how good I feel.
How about the concept of a rookie quarterback? Are you guys going to try to throw some things at him that potentially he'll have to make judgments about?
I think we're going to be us, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever, the idea is to try to throw stuff at him. I think it's more so just we have an identity of who we are, and at the end of the day, the team that we play got to stop it. So that's the biggest deal. We're going to be us.
Where does that come from? Where do you credit that to?
I just love the game. That's it. I love the game. I think one of the biggest things about this game is you got to make a decision every single play. Do you want it more than the guy across from you? So I just try to make that decision, regardless of whether I win the move, win the rush, or start the play off good or not. It's all about how you finish. That's just in the back of my mind. It's all about how you finish. Good.
Thank you.